I'm an autism awareness angel, making sure my wings protect the different, the stranger than. I'm an autism awareness angel. It's good, cause I'm cool with the unique behavior. I'm an autism awareness angel. Will you accept me? Cause I accept you. I'm an autism awareness angel, cause a view from the spectrum is a better point of view.
Hello and welcome back to Autism 30. I'm Tally, and today we are speaking with Mrs. Abbe Gates, founder and president of Blazin Soccer Dogs, and her son, Mr. Lucas Gates, manager of Rain City Wolves FC, another division of Soccer Dogs, located in Vancouver, British Columbia. Abbe not only has a huge heart and compassionate nature, but also has an extensive history of philanthropic work in various events in Vancouver and has been tirelessly volunteering her time to Blazin Soccer Dogs for the past 8 years. Lucas is also a key manager who serves as webmaster for the site and has a job in his own time. If you want to hear more about Lucas and his journey, please listen to the Autism 30 podcast dated January 1st, 2016. The Blazin Soccer Dogs organization is a fabulous environment where children with challenges can learn soccer in a supportive, compassionate, and fun environment where they are cherished and valued members of the team. You can also see Abbe and Lucas at every practice clearly devoted to not only the children playing the game, but also the volunteers, coaches, and parents who have time to sit and watch the game and relax while connecting with other parents. Welcome, Abbe and Lucas.
Hi.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much for doing this. So how was Blazin Soccer Dogs started? Can you give us a bit of the history?
Sure. Around 8 years ago, my daughter was invited to come play soccer with one of her girlfriends on our local regular soccer team. So I asked Sadie if she was interested in playing soccer, and she said absolutely. So we went to the practice, and she just ran in there and joined up with all the other kids. And I just sat back on the bench with my girlfriends and a couple other families, and we just talked, and we were happy, and I was thrilled that Sadie was keeping up with everyone. And then once it was over, I'd say about 90 minutes later, she was soaking wet and all the other kids were just drenched in sweat. Sadie came running over, and so did the coach. And the coach just looked at me, and I already pulled out my check and it was signed and dated. And I just wanted to know the amount I should put on it I definitely wanted Sadie to join this team. She was just enjoying it so much. And then the coach looked at me and said, I need to speak to you. Can I have a private conversation? And I just got the strangest feeling when he said that. And I told Sadie, honey, just go over and play on the playground and Mommy will be right back. So I walked over and the coach just kind of looked at me. He was a lot shorter than me. And so I was looking a little down on him. And he just said, when your friend said that her daughter had a friend that wanted to come on and play with the team, she never told me that her friend had special needs. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, oh, okay. And he goes, I'm sorry, but your daughter will be a liability to the team. And I was just so shocked and stunned by this because my girlfriend's daughter, along with the other couple of kids that were on the team, are also special needs. But my daughter has Down syndrome, and you can tell my daughter has special needs by the way she looks. And the other children do have special needs, but it's kind of an invisible disability. And I was so stunned and shocked. And usually I'm not really short on words, but I was just so taken away that I just couldn't even, I just turned away.
Absolutely.
I just turned away. And I walked towards my girlfriends who were sitting on the bench, and they looked at me and they said, oh my God, what's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost. And I couldn't even speak. I was just speechless.
Completely understandable.
Yeah. And I thought, what am I going to tell Sadie? What am I going to do? So I just told my friends, I've got to go. And I walked over to the playground, and said, come on, Sadie, we got to go. And I just tried to hold everything back from not crying because it was just something that, oh my gosh, how am I going to handle this? You know, you blend into society so beautifully all the time. And all of a sudden this, my daughter's a liability. It's like she played properly. This is not a high grade soccer team. This is a bunch of 11-year-old girls tripping and having fun and singing whatever.
Of course.
Just playing and having a good time. So we get in the car, and Sadie was in the back, strapped in, and I just cried. And she couldn't see this. I had it adjusted in the rearview mirror so she couldn't see. And she said, Mommy, I just want to get my uniform. I just want to play. And I was doing everything just to see the road so I could drive home. And I just said, Sadie, you know what? I don't have the greatest feeling about this coach. Holding it in while I was crying.
Understandably.
Yeah. And I just said, you know what? I'll figure out something else, Sadie. I'll figure out something else we're going to do. And just got home, thankfully, and Sadie went to play, and I just walked in, and Gary and Lucas, I'll still remember this, we were sitting in the living room, and Gary just looked at me, and I couldn't even speak. I just burst out crying, and it was the worst.
Gary's your husband.
Gary's my husband, and
Yes.
Lucas is my son, who were both sitting watching a game or whatever. And I told Gary, and he was livid. And he wanted to call this guy, which I don't even know the guy's name. As a parent, it's like, how dare you? How beyond?
Absolutely.
You know, this is a children's league. And so I was beside myself, hysterical. And then what, Luke?
And then I remember when she came in, basically said, we need to come up with a name for the team.
No, I don't think it really quite started like that. I said to Gary, your dad, I said, you know what? We got to figure out something we're going to tell Sadie. This is our first concern. I've got to find somewhere that we can, and then we just talked a little bit about it. And I said, you know what? I know nothing about soccer. We've got a really large front yard. You're in the fashion industry. Get me some jerseys. I'll get a group of kids together and we'll play soccer. I will read up everything there is to know about soccer. And then as the hours went by and showered, everybody was sort of tucking in and going to bed. I thought, you know what? I can't let this go. I can't let this go. And I just popped off a little letter to the Vancouver province, didn't want to cause any commotions, didn't name any names, didn't even tell them the park we were playing at. And I just told them what had happened. And I told them, if there's anybody out there that has a child that wants to play soccer and has never really fit in and feels uncomfortable or just whatever, wants to come on to our team, come on our team. I will find jerseys. I will do anything.
We're all thankful you did.
Oh my gosh. The next morning, it was unbelievable. We had the province at our door, the Sun at our door, every radio station. It was like crazy. We were on front page of the Sun and Province for 3 days straight. We were on every single, it even went on to the national news. I had letters coming in from parents from all over Canada wanting to donate to this and that. We had, when I was on the radio on one of the Nat and Drew show.
The Nat and Drew, I think this was way back.
Yeah, but I remember they said, you know what, Abby, while we're interviewing right now, there's a call coming in, and I know you'll want to talk to this woman. And I'm like, okay. And so all of a sudden, I hear this voice come in, and she goes, hello, Abby. My name is Melina. I'm from Macy Sports in North Vancouver. My store is going to totally donate absolutely everything for as many years as you go in. So if you're in for 1 year or if you're in for 20 years, where all the uniforms, the equipment, everything. So of course I broke out into the ugly cry on the radio, and it's like I could not believe what I was hearing.
I think I remember hearing that.
And then I had a dad in Toronto. He said, how many, by this time we had all these parents that said, yes, we want to be part of it. We want to be part of it. So there was like 28 kids. One dad in Toronto had a little girl with Down syndrome, and he said, I want to buy each child a pair of cleats. So just give me a ballpark number, what it's going to be. Boom, he sent us a check. We had so many checks come flying in, just supporting our team for everything. It was such, and then the BC Soccer Association called me the day that I think we were being interviewed here, and they said, this is ridiculous. There's no way. We'll do it. We'll look after you guys.
Fantastic.
So I said, you know what? You have plenty of years to get something like this on the go. And no, I think this is really needed, and I think it has to be started by a parent. And I called 5 of my girlfriends, Sadie's friends' moms, and I said, look, this is going to be a commitment, but I'm asking you if you want to be on my committee. This is really a long commitment.
Yes.
Come on my committee, and let's form a soccer team. And That's how the Blazin Soccer Dogs was born. Lucas named it, though.
I named
Lucas
it.
named it.
Well, the thing though, I came up with the name because there was names that like Blazing. You know, that name is pretty standardized. I want
Yes.
to come up with something unique because most of these players, of course, are unique in a sense. Like
Absolutely.
because there's like kids from we wanted all over the spectrum. Because when we started our team, we had a slogan named. We had a slogan that was believe anything, believe endless possibilities. We expanded it to, and basically our statement we said was to deny nobody.
Yes.
We didn't want to deny anybody because there's so many places that a lot of these kids can't play. Well,
Very true.
I'm happy that my mom created this, and I'm happy to be part of this team for many years to
And
come.
it was also amazing too because the outcry of just not just from parents, but then from professional people that want to be coaches, that they've coached for years, they want to be part of our team. All
Yes.
these volunteers, these physiotherapists, these occupational therapists, these speech therapists, UBC students were coming out of the woodwork. Everybody wanted to volunteer. It was like incredible. It was just so overwhelming. So we had a big meeting at our house. We just said, because we didn't have a boardroom or anything. So all of us crammed into here and we just met each other for the first time and just hugged each other. And we thought, we are on to something. This is going to be so beautiful. Our first game, I mean, we had backpacks donated, baseball hats donated. It was so incredible how, I want to say Vancouver, but it was really all of Canada.
Pretty
had
much.
Sent so many things for all our kids. And I mean, we covered the whole spectrum of children from autism to Down syndrome to children with visual impairments, hearing impairments, sick children. We had a child with cancer who wanted to always be on a soccer team, and he was the most precious young man, just so beautiful. But he just came and he put on his uniform, and he couldn't really play with us because
But he was
he's
such a sweet kid.
he was, and he just sat there because of all the chemo, and it just took a toll on him. But his mom said he would just sleep with his uniform, waiting to go every Saturday morning. Unfortunately, we lost him, and he passed away. But his parents came to the game the following.
we actually did it like a mock.
We did.
We did actually like
SpongeBob.
We did like a impromptu memorial patch like they do in soccer.
Yes.
We just had them all taped on. We had a SpongeBob patch. We patched on all of our uniforms for that day in honor of this late player.
Yeah,
That's really sweet.
Yeah. It
This-
was-
and by the way,
it was
his-
Touching.
it was unbelievable, and the
And-
families that we've met. Oh,
I mean, what you've started and the juggernaut that took place, as a parent, we're just really grateful that all of that happened. Unfortunately, that sad moment really created something really what I consider to be fabulously wonderful and a
Absolutely.
gift to
Absolutely.
definitely the people who benefit from it in the Lower Mainland.
and there was a reason it happened, because if it didn't happen, I don't know if this would ever happen. And I don't even know what gave me the guts to.
And we would never known a lot of people that we are close connections with. We know a lot of people that are in this community, and I'm happy to be part of it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Now, how long has it been in operation?
We've been in operation now for 8 years, going on 9.
What is the philosophy of the Blazin Soccer Dogs and the Rain City Wolves FC?
For me, I'll say about the Rain City Wolves. The Rain City Wolves are the division above the rest of the players. We usually look at the players and say, "Hey, these kids are actually really good." Then we just say we want to bring them up to the next level. Which some of these kids, we actually created the Rain City Wolves as an offshoot to the Blazin Soccer Dogs, because it was just a lot of these players were like kicking the ball like slowly, and they were tired.
Yeah, and the Rain City Wolves was all Lucas's idea, because the Blazin Soccer Dog, the pups go from ages 4 to 8, and then from 9 to probably our oldest has been like 25, our player.
But I mean,
and then all of a sudden Lucas was really eyeing and saying, you know what, a lot of these kids are getting really good. Let's create a new division. And so
That was a great idea.
brilliant.
Most of the kids were getting like tired of it,
Yeah.
because they were like kicking the ball like so slowly. They were just bored. They needed some more challenge. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Now, who are your coaches? What are their qualifications?
Our coaches, oh my goodness. First of all, we've got a couple parents that are coaches. We
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of UBC students. We have all of our coaches are major soccer players.
Oh, yeah.
But honestly, they didn't have to have any experience, just because I know for myself, I have no experience in soccer either. And I've been on that field many a times helping out. And you don't need to have soccer experience. You need to be a patient person. You need to understand if a kid is having a meltdown or running away or something.
So
It's
very
just,
true.
Just be with that child. Just make it fun. Get him his own ball and go play on another part of the field until he calms down, or just have him just have a little bit of a timeout, whatever. Just stand back. And the parents, we don't like the parents on the field, because
Yeah.
we bring coffee and we want them to sit back, meet other parents. It's nothing more Oh my gosh, that was my biggest one. Lucas, at 5 years old, I had nobody. And it was so lonely, so lonely. All I had was Gary, because really, family doesn't even get autism. It's so difficult in those meltdown moments, or the sensory issues and the food issues and the other people issues and life issues.
Yes.
Yep, for sure.
Everything's an
true.
issue. Everything's an issue.
I also want to bring up about Rain City Wolves. Some of the coaches we bring on board for the Rain City Wolves do have the soccer experience. Our coaches are usually the players, or some of the players coming up from the dogs, who are usually have great soccer experience. I usually do have the ones that have soccer experience because, like they want to get more at it and they just need more experience.
No, that's very true. Now, can siblings participate?
Absolutely. We have a lot of siblings that want to volunteer, because most of our pups, I'd say all of our pups, need one-on-one. So one-on-one means one player, one volunteer. And they all follow the coach's instructions, but they're really, because they're so young, they're between the ages of 4 and 8. So at that age, they are not really, they're sort of listening to what the coaches are saying, but they're really into their volunteers. And the volunteers are very focused on that child. We tell them, that is your person. That is your little person that you're to be with. Don't worry what Johnny's doing beside you. If he's having a meltdown, his volunteer will look after him. And like we tell all our volunteers too, if they are with a child that they just don't feel like it's just a lot, and it can be a lot. I'm a mother.
For sure.
I know it can be a lot.
Yes.
Just give us the sign and we will send somebody new in.
Now, what time of year do you offer your programs?
I can bring this up.
Sure, Lou.
So basically, we play during the spring and fall seasons. We usually allow 2 breaks a year.
Okay.
We usually allow the summer because a lot of kids are, of course, on summer break and they're off school and they need some time to have a family.
Yes.
And also winter, we allow a little bit of a longer break because the weather gets pretty bad this time around October, November, December.
Yes.
So basically our fall season is September, October. We end, our last day is October 31st usually, so we can have a big Halloween party, which is a total blast.
Yeah.
And then our spring is April, May, and June. And we cannot play in the rain, unfortunately, because here in Vancouver, the Vancouver School Board has been phenomenal with us, and they give us a phenomenal rate. I'm not telling what they give us, but they are just amazing. So we don't want to go against what they're telling us. And
course.
so we cannot play in the rain. And knowing Vancouver, it makes for a very short fall season. But come spring, it's like not one game is canceled.
Except one game we do have to cancel. One game at least a season.
Yeah.
Because we have an event, we partner with someone else during that time, and it's unfortunately eats that week up.
Right.
Absolutely. Now, typically, where do you hold practice? In what locations?
Okay, so practice and game are both the same day. So in the fall, September, October, we play at McKechnie.
No, actually, I can correct you.
Oh, that's at John Oliver. Sorry.
We play during our fall season is at John Oliver, which we have it's a really good field where it's all fenced in and all that kind of stuff. And also I have to bring up spring. We actually play at McKechnie, which is a smaller field, but it's still a great field. That's where we actually had our first game ever at that field.
And both schools are in the Lower Mainland, but we have people coming in from Abbotsford, Maple Ridge, all over.
Yes, you do.
Absolutely.
And I would love to see more volunteers come out from maybe like Squamish or somewhere else, because that
Volunteers or players? You mean players?
The whole hoopla.
Yeah.
The whole hoopla.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice that you're welcoming. Now, typically, what do people wear?
What they wear, all our players, they're all given. We are a free league. There is not a penny you have to pay. We even have a pay it forward program with all our cleats. So if you grow out of your cleats, bring them back and some other child will wear them. So they're almost brand new, because it's not the toughest game of soccer. And our unit, they get a jersey, they get shorts, they get a pair of cleats, they get snacks at snack time. That's a big deal. It's a big deal on our side.
It is a big deal. It is a very big deal. The kids go crazy for the goldfish.
Yes, and I think kids go crazy for the uniforms as well, because for many of our children, it's the first time where they actually feel that they're part of a team.
Definitely.
Because they look like they're part of a team as well
Absolutely.
when they're playing, which is a really great thought on your part.
I also want to bring up the Rain City Wolves. We actually do it a little bit differently. We actually, instead of having a green jersey, we actually have a black jersey, which our team colors are not the same as the Dogs. Also, we also do like hardcore practicing. It's like crazy. And also at the end of the game, like right before the game ends, we usually let the dogs go early.
Yes.
And then we have a coaches versus like a showcase game where we have the dogs playing against the coaches. The pups and wolves against the coaches. It's a blast.
Amazing.
Sounds
It's
like
amazing.
such fun.
And another thing with the uniforms, which is really cool, and it's been just heartwarming over the years, all my letters I get from parents and my committee gets from parents, is we like to have our uniforms all handed in at each end of the season so I
Yes.
can bring them home and wash them. But there's so many kids that get so attached to their uniforms, and we get these letters, and it's like, of course you can keep it till next season. But the letters from the parents, like you can just feel it. We'll pay for it. We'll do anything. And it's like, oh, absolutely. Just keep it. Don't worry about it. Just bring it back, and Johnny will wear it again next season and next season and next
Yeah,
season.
I've seen that. And also, I really try to tell my wolves. I try to tell them to please bring it back, but I know a lot of them tend to, just try to. They try to bring it back, but it's very hard for them.
You can really, they're cherished items to those kids. Even
Absolutely.
the parents, they're cherished to the parents.
And you know what? The whole game is cherished to the parents because there is no stress for the
No,
parents. This is one
there
place
really
you can
is
come.
not.
And they blend in. You blend in no matter if your kid's like having a major meltdown or if they've jumped into the middle of the goldfish cracker bowl or whatever. It doesn't matter. All of us there's no big deal. And you can see no parents really fretting or anything because we're all in the same boat.
And it's
100%.
such a lax environment because everyone's so chill. Like it's like, hey, morning, how's it going, and that kind of stuff. It's such a very laxed experience. Like even some of my players who come in, I say, morning guys, let's do some good practicing today.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, if parents want their children to be involved, how do they find out about the upcoming season?
Well, usually I go and put flyers like in all the Starbucks and coffee shops around the city and community centers. But you can go to our website, which is soccerdogs.ca. It tells everything about registering to be a volunteer. Those emails come right to me because I look after all the volunteers and coaches. The players and their families. The other woman on my committee, one of the other women, she looks after all the families, and it's totally confidential because there's a lot of issues with
Of course.
a lot of our kids, and I don't even know the emails Barbara gets because it's none of my business. I don't want to know, but if there's certain things that need to be known to give to the volunteer, then it has to be the parents. Just, oh my goodness, it's like a therapy session every time Soccer Dogs is on. Everybody
Very
wants to
true.
talk to so many of us because our kids have grown and gone through a lot of the things their kids are all now going through. So yeah.
Now, what do you consider to be the benefits of participating in your programs, let's say as a participant, a volunteer, and as a family?
Well, first of all, our volunteers, because it's such a special volunteer
They got double volunteer hours.
We double their volunteer hours. We get a lot, like I was saying, of students that are going into physio, speech, and OT or want to be special ed teachers. We get so many people from UBC because we had a professor out there and he made his whole class one year come out and be volunteers or else they wouldn't pass the course. Wow. That's how serious.
Isn't that what I
Miss
remember?
Barry Legg.
Barry, yeah, great
He's
guy.
Still great. He sent one of his students out. Those are the kind of volunteers we love, even though we adore having, like one elementary school sent 15 grade 7 students out to help with our pups. When these girls and one boy walked onto our field, I swear to God, I almost cried. Just watching them all walk towards me and then putting them in their red t-shirts, because all our volunteers have to we give them red t-shirts to wear, was a moment. It's just a moment. It's a moment that you just wish, like probably a million other moments on our team. Like, if only I could just tell each one of these kids, like, wow, you have no idea what you're doing to these parents, these kids, and you'll remember this forever. You will remember this
100%,
forever.
yes. Now, what are the future goals for Blazin Soccer Dogs and Rain City Wolves FC?
I can bring up one thing about Rain City Wolves. Actually, right at this moment of this podcast that is being recorded, we are in discussions about creating another future plans for the Rain City Wolves, and it involves another division. We're just not sure what it's going to be, but it's most likely we're still in the works. But this is actually the first time I'm going to be saying this. It might be later. We might have already said this after it's being taped, but we're going to be creating another division that's like a farm team, like the pups for the Wolves.
Right.
Oh, that sounds exciting.
Yeah, because the Wolves are definitely at a high. They're great players. So there's got to be something. Lucas was thinking in between the dogs and the wolves, because these guys and girls, we've got
it's co-ed.
We've
It's
got a
co-ed.
girl.
It's a co-ed. It's co-ed.
Delan's our girl, right?
Yes,
amazing.
And here's the thing, though: we actually on the Wolves, we actually have a captain. We actually name a captain each season. But I've already decided I've decided to name a permanent captain, and one of my friends, one of the best players on the team, is now our captain. He's a great guy.
Every season there's a new captain, right?
As of this season, I personally decided that it's no longer going to be. It's going to be permanent.
Oh, okay.
I think I told this off the air.
Okay.
Now, for our international listeners, as we are heard in 85 countries so far, who may want to start a program of their own, what would you advise them to do?
Oh, first of all, I want to say hello to all you 85 countries out there, and
hello world,
especially to all you special needs parents out there. Just a big hello. We're all in this together. What I would want to say to you is, if you want to start something like this, go for it. You get a group of friends, just like I did, and all my friends are parents of their kids with special needs. And if you can find a sponsor that, believe me, there are people out there that would give anything to be part of this. So it's nice to keep it a free league, because I know how expensive all the therapies are when you have a child with special needs can be. And it's so nice to join something and be part of something that halfway through you're not going to be said, okay, it is going to cost money. We've never charged anything for the whole 8 years. So I would definitely say go for it.
That's great advice.
Yes.
And also, personally, from my point of experience, we've actually been looking for a while now. Hey, we would love to have people doing this stuff, and we can sort of have an affiliation circuit going around.
What a great
Love
idea.
that.
Because there's a way to collaborate, because we are the ones who are starting. We started this whole idea. Look at Special Olympics and all this other kind of stuff that started from just a little thing.
Absolutely.
And then it grew up from there. It's only just a nucleus. It's going to grow.
Now, I know this is an obvious question, but what do you find rewarding about doing this?
Honestly, one of the biggest rewards is watching all the parents. It's nice to see all the kids out there having fun with the volunteers, but to see all the parents and come to the field, I know how stressful their weeks are. We all know. Our
Very
whole
true.
committee knows. And what I do the whole 2.5 hours, 3 hours we're out there is just talk to all the parents. They have so many questions. We want to know how something went during. We knew something was coming up for their child that week. We want to recap and see what happened. We are all so intertwined now with each other's lives.
True.
There's nothing like support from another person that totally gets what you're going through, because it's really difficult when you're not going through this to understand. Family, our best of friends, unless you're in our shoes, it's impossible to know what we're going through. So that's one of the biggest rewards for me. And just seeing my children and their friends grow from this. Sadie and her friends now are volunteers. Instead of being the players, they're now the volunteers.
Yeah, they sort of retired.
Yeah.
If you can ask what I mean, because they wanted to help out the kids now.
Yes, of course.
It's sort of like in like real soccer. Like a lot of these players have to retire because they're just old and just want to do something different.
It's
So
like a
what
full
age do
circle.
people usually retire?
Sadie's only 19, but she's a 19-year-old teenage girl that doesn't want to get her hair messed up, and her friends, they don't want to get their
course
hair
not.
messed up, and there's a lot of cute boys on the team too, so they have to look good. So there's nobody. I mean, some of our players are still out there. Most of the guys want to keep playing that are Sadie's age, but her and her friends now, they help with the snacks and they help with the registration. Everybody has to wear, like, you come to our field, you have to all wear your name tags, because there's so many people there. We have to make sure everybody's affiliated with us, because still, it's in a big park. You don't want anybody that's not part of our team, so we've never had that problem. But there's, from the minute they step on the field, it's sort of under our watch. We really watch what's going on.
Yes, and also I want to bring in another point for I want to bring back to the Wolves, for example. On our team, we actually do not need name tags, because we're more of mature. Like, most of our players are in their late teens, like in their early adulthood.
Also the Wolves parents, since they've graduated the Wolves, their parents are allowed to leave the field, and if they want to go shopping, but they don't leave the field
because they love the team so much.
They love watching their kids and how they progress. Our parents are unbelievable. They are so happy to sit back with their coffee, talk to other families.
Usually they just have the cup of Java and just sit away. They love, and also the best thing is once they watch the team and they see the practice and like the real showcase game, as we call it, then the coaches and players come along. It's an absolute blast. They always go Wolves, go Wolves, go. It's an absolute blast.
And it's sad at the end of the season, so many parents come up and say, is there any way we can get an indoor facility or any way we can continue? And it's just say, you know what, we'd love to, but a lot of our volunteers have other things, like real paying jobs.
Yep.
Yes.
And going back to school and studying whatever.
Me, of course, too, because I'm like what you said like you said at the beginning of the show, like
Yes.
I'm also working right now. I'm just taking time off from school, and I need to get job experience. So I'm just working that out.
Absolutely. Now, because we're running out of time, and it's a question I ask all of my guests, what's the one thing you would like the world to know about autism?
Oh, God. The one thing. Oh, my gosh. It's quite the journey. There's absolutely a light at the end of the tunnel. Lucas, as you've been listening to, is very articulate the way he's been speaking. He did not say one word till he is over 5. We couldn't have any therapies. We couldn't have any programs because of the behaviors, unfortunately, weren't appropriate. He wasn't violent, but he was just very just not able to join in, and every tutor or anybody we hired just wouldn't stick around. So honestly, reach out to somebody other autism
That's
parents.
great advice.
It's the other parents that can totally help you through it. You're not alone. Oh my gosh. Facebook is amazing for
Yes.
reaching out and listening to other stories. And you're, if there's a autism center in your area, be a part of it. Like I am with Sadie with having Down syndrome, the Down Syndrome Research Foundation, and soon to be in Vancouver or Richmond, the Family Autism Center, which we are counting the seconds till it opens.
Yeah, I cannot
Yes.
wait. I cannot wait for that to open.
This is going to be quite the center.
I've already told the people in charge I want to be there for opening day, and I think they said yes.
I think Lucas is making the opening speech. As a matter of fact, he's just being a little shy right now to say that.
I don't want to be shy. I don't want to give away too much
Yeah.
spoilers. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, but just reach out. You don't have to go through anything alone, because trust me, there's other parents that are going through the exact same thing. I know how hard even restaurants can be, if you can even get out to a restaurant when your child's young. Even family dinners when we have to take 2 cars. It's so difficult. And for those people that don't have children with special needs, and you do see a child having a meltdown, the dirty looks don't do us any good.
That's great
it
advice.
hurts. It hurts so much. If of course you're going to look, because this child is flipping all over the mall floor, but look away. You don't have to, or just look at the mom and smile. Like give a look to the mom or the dad. Because it's the worst thing when you're feeling like the spotlight is on you and you're so helpless at that moment. All you want to do is disappear from life, but you don't need to, because there's so many of us. There's so many of us out here.
Now, a fun little fact, the inspiration for this wonderful organization, Sadie, has been sitting with us the whole entire time, very proudly in her red volunteer shirt, because she doesn't only play soccer anymore, she volunteers for the team, and she does a fabulous job. So Sadie, do you want to say hi?
Hi.
Hi, wonderful. Well, I want to thank Abbe, Lucas, and Sadie for sitting with us today on Autism 30. And I also want to remind you to subscribe and join our mailing list to receive information about upcoming podcasts and information. And if you're listening to us on iTunes, don't forget to write a review and like us and join us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Google+. And don't forget to send in your questions. If you want to ask our parent panel or myself, please send us an email and we'd love to address and answer them. You can do so from our webpage at autism30.com and click the word contact. Now, if you want your child to be part of a sports team and learn soccer in a supportive, wonderful, and fun environment, please consider joining this great organization. All of the details will be on the autism30.com webpage. Once again, thank you, our podcast audience, for joining us. And until next time, this is Tally telling you to live in love.
Hey yo, I'm an autism awareness angel, making sure my wings protect the different, the stranger than